Hey everyone, it's me Alone. I hope you are having a great week, and well, it is finally here. Bethesda is about to release their long awaited update where they are finally removing legacy weapons from Fallout 76. It is happening, it is confirmed, it is 100% real, and in fact, by the time this video goes live, the servers will probably be down for maintenance, if not already live again with the new update implemented. And let's talk about it. As you could imagine, the community is divided. There's a good portion of the community completely in favor of the decision. They're positive about the change, but others are in a bit of an uproar, to say the least. They are not so happy about this change. In fact, there are a few players threatening to leave the game forever and cancel their Fallout 1 subscriptions if BGS do follow up on this change. But let's cover both sides of the argument, in addition to some of the other nice changes actually being introduced by this update, because it's not all about legacy weapons. So if you enjoyed this video, all I ask is if you could please join my Discord. The link is in the description below, in addition to the pinned comment. We're getting so close to getting partnered on there, and I've been really enjoying talking to all of you about all things Bethesda, so I hope to see you there. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the latest inside the vault on Fallout.com. It starts off by saying Tuesday, January 24 at 10 AM ET, we are bringing Fallout 76 offline across all platforms to apply an update. This update is focused on bug fixes and improvements, but also includes the illegal weapon mod removal we announced in November. Now, they keep using the phrase illegal weapon mod removal, but yes, it does refer to legacy weapons as well. I'll explain in a second. What does this mean for my weapons? For a great majority of our player base, you will not notice any changes to your weapons. This system will detect weapon mod attachments placed on weapons that they don't naturally belong to and cannot be obtained through gameplay. So that's specifically referring to hacked weapons in the game. In addition to this, weapons with mods that we have removed from the drop pool previously in balance adjustments will also be impacted, and here's the kicker. This includes weapons such as Stalker's shovels and explosive energy weapons. That is the key. That refers to weapons like the big elephant in the room, the explosive Gatling plasma, probably one of the most problem weapons in the game when it comes to legacies, if not the biggest problem weapon in the game. Those are being removed by this update. And why are they doing this? BGS says this implementation is to ensure that all players have the same advantages as you, whether this be in events, daily ops, scorched earth, and more. All players must adhere to the EULA rules and regulations and the terms of our TOS. Now, before we talk about this removal of legacies, let's cover, as I said, some of the other changes being introduced by this update, specifically to weapon improvements. Additionally, we're making a few changes to existing weapons. A few of these changes being, assault rifles will now correctly have the rifle classification regardless of how it is modded, explosive bullets now only applied to bullets, railway spikes excluded, handy buzz blades will have greatly reduced VATS AP consumption, radium rifles will have an increased rate to learn mods when scrapping, and gunpowder is now categorized as junk/scrap. Those last two changes, man, are huge. They are small changes, don't get me wrong, but they're going to make such a nice little difference to the game. Gunpowder being categorized as junk/scrap, as it should be, is going to be saving so much of your inventory space. Now that you're actually going to be able to put gunpowder in your scrap box and not have to keep it in your inventory. You need it to be able to craft ammunition, and you craft ammunition in bulk in this game. That's what we all do. Having gunpowder way down our inventories was such a bugbear for so long. I don't know why it took this long to change, but finally it is here, and I am all for it, even though I'm not really playing the game anymore. Big change. Thank you to Bethesda for doing that. And also for the radium rifles as well. Personally, I never used them when playing the game, but I heard how hard it was to get the mods for radium rifles because the drop rate when you were scrapping them was so low. In fact, someone on Reddit said the following: I have 44 out of 45 mods. It's taken scrapping about 2,000 radium rifles to get that far. That is insane. So if you like the radium rifles or you want to use it in the future, it is going to be much more reasonable to be getting all the mods for those guns. Awesome change. Again, well done Bethesda. Very small, but a nice quality of life improvement for the core players that are still in Fallout 76. But let's talk about legacies. It's obviously the big bugbear, the big controversy in this update. You know my position. I've covered this in the past. I think Bethesda is 110%, 1,000% in the right. I'll cover the other sides of the argument first. I know that a few of you out there obtained your legacies legitimately. I know that a few of you, I'm not going to say a lot of you, a few of you use them responsibly, if you will. You use them in your own servers. You didn't use them at public events. You made sure that you didn't ruin everyone else's experience, and you obtained them legitimately in the game. So I understand why for you specifically, that refers to you, I understand why you would be a little bit upset. However, I'm sure you can also understand how much of a problem they became. One, of course, because they were duped to hell. We are not just talking about a small few traditional players of Fallout 76 that have kept onto their legacies and got them legitimately. That's just not the case anymore. These guns were duped to hell, and most players, I would say, that have them today in the game obtain them through those means, okay? So they're not people that obtain them legitimately. They have dropped legitimately in the past. They're not illegal weapon mods at all, I agree, but there are people that obtain them through duping means. So they should not be having those weapons because it's against terms of service, it's against EULA. I know some people might be like, oh, why do you care so much? The fact is they're not allowed. They're not allowed, you're not allowed to dupe in the game. Those players shouldn't have those weapons. But more to the point, it was ruining the experience for a lot of players in the game. At public events specifically, it was never fun to see someone come with their explosive Gatling plasma. That was the biggest issue in the game, I would say, that gun, and just wreck enemies. Like, I know some of you might be like, oh, it was fun because, you know, I still got the loot and everything else from the Scorched Beast Queen when doing Scorched Earth. But for lower level players, for newer players, and for all those other public events that those guns were still used at, it did ruin the experience. They got less kills, they got less ability to participate and actually play the damn game. Yes, to this day, the use of those weapons sometimes crashed servers, especially when many of them were being used at once. The audio went crazy. I'm sorry, but so many issues were caused by those weapons. And even though some of you used them responsibly, I can accept that, many people didn't. So it has gotten to the stage where they had to be removed from the game. There is no other way. Bethesda can't sit there as arbiter and say, you used them correctly, but you didn't. It's not practical. If you're going to remove some, you have to remove all. That was the only way. And I think it is going to make the game better, as a result. Now, if you are one of those players that are going to leave the game forever, that is completely your decision. Right? If this was one of the biggest reasons why you enjoyed Fallout 76, just plowing through enemies and killing them very easy, if you want to leave the game for that reason, your call, more power to you. But did you... No, I'm not going to go... I was going to say as a joke, did you really enjoy the game if it was just for the legacies? But I don't think that's fair. I know how much fun they are to use. I've used them in the past because I obtained mine legitimately. But I will say that it seems like such a trivial decision to leave a game completely that you otherwise actively enjoy. If you're simply burnt out from the game like I've been, admittedly, then I can understand this might be the last straw for you, but it had to happen. It had to happen. Now, some people have said, expect player counts to drop dramatically as a result of this. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I do not think player counts are going to drop dramatically. Most of the players that play Fallout 76 don't have legacy weapons. Again, it's a select few, but that number started to balloon out of control. But I still think we're talking about, maybe in the tens of thousands, if not like the single thousands. I don't think it was hundreds of thousands of players or anything like that. So we might see a little drop in the game, but it's going to be made up as soon as there's a free weekend or another fun event. Those other players are going to come back and replace those slots. It's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be the death of Fallout 76 or anything crazy like that, but you might disagree. And some people have also said as well, why are they so fixated on removing legacy weapons? What about all the other bugs in the game? The game-ending bugs, the grenade glitch, the power armor stacking. Where are all the promised other balance changes that they promised after One Wasteland? Why isn't the fast travel bug getting fixed? Why are they focusing on all the legacy removals and not those specific issues, which are still big problems in the game? I agree, yes, that they should be removing and fixing those issues as well. This is not a one-size-fits-all thing. This is not the be-all and end-all. The removal of legacies is not going to make suddenly Fallout 76 the best game in the world. I will still sit here and say the game has core issues, especially when it comes to a lot of those bugs and a lot of those long-standing bugs, especially like the fast travel bug, etc., etc. Bethesda need to remove those as well, okay? I 100% agree. But this was one of the big issues that needed to be addressed too, and it's good that it's happening. That's all I'm saying. Eventually, yes, Bethesda, please affect those other issues that are still plaguing the game. But just because they're fixing the legacy, issue does not mean that they're not fixing the other issues. It's just taking time. You know that they're working with a smaller team nowadays. They're working through it. So hopefully all those other issues are going to be resolved very soon. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, Wastelanders. It's going to get spicy in the comments, but, we'll deal with it anyways. So until next time, this has been the Lonebot Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.